everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of A Perfect Waste of Time, the second episode. Super excited for unleashing this. Of course, I just have to give a super sincere thank you for everybody who listened to the first episode and just left me such wonderful comments. I think that this format, although it is a little bit different, ultimately it's the same. It's the same thing that I do. I just like to talk and have fun. And so I'm glad that a lot of you caught on to that. And I've been looking forward to the last Friday of every month because, again, this format is very loosey-goosey. And I'm literally recording. Again, I think I'm going to start doing this every one of these episodes. It's 9:25 p.m. Central Standard Time. So on Thursday, I should say. And I'm excited to chat with you. I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. I figured I would just do kind of talk about two things that are going on or just on my mind in general. And shortly after the first episode came out, an incident happened that none of us can say that we were expecting. But a very fantastic musician, Taylor Hawkins, passed away back in March. And let's see. Yeah, he actually he passed away on the first episode that when this came out. Wow. But I've been trying to... There were a lot of comments going out about how he meant to people, both, you know, as a person, as a musician, and all that. And, you know, I didn't stay silent. Of course, I gave my condolences to the friends and family and the fans. But I certainly do have a Taylor Hawkins story. And before you say anything, no, it's not that I had the opportunity to chat with him or meet him in any sense of the word. I will say that, you know, when I was for Casting for Two, I did make it a mission to get a Foo Fighter on the podcast, and all turned me down, which is all understandable except Chris Shiflett, who is the lead guitar player. His publicist said, "Who are you?" And then once I proceeded to tell them who I was, then I got ghosted. Again, no ill will towards anybody in the Foo Fighters or their management, because I totally get it. But there was... my story does kind of revolve around going to an event. I mean, I'll kind of backtrack. Foo Fighters is my all-time favorite band. And it's one of the bands that I do have a lyric tattooed on my shin. It's a Long Road to Ruin. That's what I have. And that is a Foo Fighters song, Long Road to Ruin. So, yes, they are my favorite band. And just seeing them live was always an experience. They were the first band that I saw live. I remember my sister and I saw them in the Salem Armory in Salem, Oregon, and tickets were like $25, something like that. And I remember everything about that because it was just such a special experience. And I remember the album All My Life, or One by One was out, and they were touring that album, and so I even remember seeing a friend from at that concert and just like having pleasantries. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off subject, but that album and then that band and just everything about it being like a first for me just kind of cemented Foo Fighters being my all-time favorite band. Especially when The Color and the Shape came out when I was a kid. I remember just enjoying Monkey Wrench so much. But, when you're a kid, you kind of don't keep track of things, especially today, now that it's easier to do so. But Foo Fighters, again, kind of flash forwarding a little bit. I think it was around 2005, 2006. Foo Fighters were on tour with Weezer, which is just an all-time dream lineup. And I believe Hot Hot Heat was their opener. Again, dream lineup, just fantastic, wonderful night. And it was myself and my buddy Sean that went. And I remember Sean asked me if it was general admission. And I was like, yeah, of course. I just told him that so that he could go. But really, it wasn't. Because even back then I was an old man and I just wanted to sit and enjoy the show. But I remember when the Foo Fighters came on stage and Dave Grohl would look, in our area, in our parameter. I don't know why Sean and I thought it'd be really funny if it looked like we were fighting each other. I don't know why. I really don't know why that was. Of course, he never said anything. He probably didn't. Dave never saw us, of course. But it was just something fun to do. But the reason why, that brings up this whole story, the Foo Fighters were touring their double album, For Your Honor. And on the second album, which is a bit more softer acoustic stuff, it had a song called Cold Day in the Sun, which was and is written by Taylor Hawkins. And when the Foo Fighters got to that point, Dave Grohl took off his guitar and Taylor got a bat, out of the drum throne and picked up a guitar, and they were just basically doing a whole switcheroo. And I remember the whole experience just being super magical. And it's been something that I've been thinking a lot about because for years the Foo Fighters played that song and I would always be super excited because I got to see Dave Grohl drum in real life. And that was just super, super fantastic. And that's what I told everybody. And then when Taylor's ultimately unexpected passing happened, I kept thinking about that moment and how I used to tell people that seeing Dave Grohl was just such a magical moment. And having some time to reflect on that, I've been wrong. I was completely wrong. And, something that just kind of hit me is just that, I play the drums? Yes. I'd never say I'm ever on a Taylor or Dave level, but the fact that Taylor was kind of putting himself out there, much as Dave did, and Dave giving him the opportunity to perform in front of people and just kind of get that chance that Dave went through was totally amazing. And that is something that I want to focus more on, I should say. Yes, I got to see one of the world's greatest drummers drum, but I got to see somebody who was trying to break free and just become more of a musician, not just a drummer. He wanted to become more. And watching him out there playing, I mean, again, I'll never know that thrill or that rush or anything like that. But just seeing him perform with a guitar, a bunch of people playing a song that he wrote, it's got to be magical. It's got to be a magical feeling. So, it's honestly a memory that I will be carrying with me from now on. And whenever somebody says, what was your favorite moment? I'm going to now start saying that it was seeing Taylor do his thing and getting to become more of a musician. And another thing that I wanted to talk about, kind of diving into something, a little bit more of a fun story. It's it'll get there. But a while ago, a couple years ago, I knew this person that was going through a hardship, and one of the things that I wanted to do was just cheer her up and do something fun. So I had this idea of creating a fake newsletter where she was the only subscriber, and I would just write fun stories that didn't even mean a thing or were ripped from headlines that were very interesting to me. And of course, I would go on and just kind of elaborate on certain things. But although that person is no longer somebody that I chat with, and believe me, it's for the better, the stories that I wrote were so creative and so freeing that I actually wanted to bring one of them into the podcast because I think it's pretty funny to me. So one of the things I want to do is tell you all 100% accurate and also 100% inaccurate stories. This one I'm calling the fun run. So when I wrote this story, it originally took place in Bourne, Texas. Now it takes place in Helotes, just throwing that out there. But, for many people, a 5K run is a huge accomplishment. But, I say, do all these people who do these fun runs, do they have the balls, the guts, to even take on a 0.5K run? Again, Helotes is a town in Texas that is looking to change the way we do 5K runs. This literally is a 0.5K run, which equals out to about 546 yards. It's basically a run for underachievers that are looking to better themselves, but not too much. It's like the Diet Cola of betterment, of bettering yourselves. During the race, you are able to actually take a donut and coffee break, if need be, of course. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you need something a little bit stronger. Then, this race has everything. Because the event has 2 brew pubs along this event so that you can get a nice pint while you're doing this 0.5K run. You might also be wondering, gosh, all of this sounds really nice, but, what if I don't feel like running the event? Well, you know what? Again, this fun run has you covered. Because you can actually purchase VIP tickets, and it allows you to ride in a 1963 Volkswagen, because if you're going to do something, why not do it with some style, right? The old Back to the Future treatment. And also, everyone who participates receives a medal for the bragging rights, because let's be honest, that's the only reason why people do fun runs. I would do more fun runs if I had a medal, so that's where that is. And one of the things, again, I wrote this story way before COVID, but this Helotes 0.5 challenge is going on in October 22nd, 2022. And if you feel like wasting an incredibly huge amount of money and coming to run this run, hey, I'm not going to stop you, okay? Helotes 0.5K challenge. Google it, look it up, participate in it, brag about it. And the best thing is, people, you can do it virtually. But yeah, so I guess signups happen around August 31st to midnight, September 30th, and it's $30. But yeah, again, if you want more information, Google it, because it's absolutely awesome. And yeah. Now we come to the part of the show that is one of my favorites. I know I have a lot of favorites, but I have a fantastic friend who is just a phenomenal guy, Mr. Bruce, who he has an awesome newsletter called the Weekly Launchpad. And again, excited because you know what time it is. It's time for A Minute with Bruce.
Hello and welcome to A Minute with Bruce. These are your top stories for the month. The 2022 NFL Draft has been underway this weekend, with Trayvon Walker shockingly going first at Jacksonville and Aiden Hutchinson going second to Detroit. Go Lions. You probably know Elon Musk bought Twitter, but did you know that data shows conservative Twitter accounts got a boost in followers after his acquisition? Yes, The Verge used social media statistics to compile data which showed afterwards that conservative accounts increased their follower counts at roughly 10 times the average daily rate for a whole month. Twitter even confirmed to NBC News that all of the activity was organic and not automated. So yes, a lot of center-left users deactivated their accounts, while many on the far right created new ones. For example, 200,000 Katy Perry followers deactivated, while Marjorie Taylor Greene gained 90,000 followers. In lighter news, an over 3,000-year-old Egyptian tablet has gone viral for recording the excuses of workers who failed to turn up for their shifts at work. Excuses included, "A scorpion bit me," and drinking. So clearly the more things change, the more they stay the same. If you like what I do here, then you'll love Launchpad, my weekly newsletter and family of podcasts. At Weekly Launchpad on Twitter, and you can find me over at Local Alien Party everywhere else.
Thank you, Bruce, so much once again for dropping all that knowledge on us. And again, like he said, you can follow him on Twitter at Local Alien Party or at Weekly. There we go. Weekly Launchpad. Fantastic. Subscribe to the newsletter. I beg of you. It is now time once again for the question of the month. Q&A. I don't really remember what I call this, but my first the question for this episode comes from a fantastic man, Gilbert Reyna, who he's a fantastic, phenomenal person, raised a couple of great kids, and yeah, he submitted a question that I'm looking forward to answering. So, Gilbert, what's your question?
I'd like to buy another car for my wife. My question is, what would be better to buy, a new car or a used car? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that is a fantastic question, going used or new car. And we are in this weird funk where used cars are costing more than new cars, which I don't understand why. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a mathematician, but of course, with COVID going on, there's a lot of things that are still scarce. I look. I know I am super macho and buff and very, very masculine in person. But one of the things that happened during the pandemic was, computer parts. What I like computers. That's nuts. Don't tell anybody. But computer parts were super expensive, and right now we're just kind of seeing that things are starting to become available. Prices are starting to go down a little bit with the car world. Hopefully that becomes true. But right now, there's just used cars. They're all the rage, So I mean, definitely, if you can get a good deal on a new car, hey, why not? I'm always a fan of the deal, and I can't resist a good deal. And if I can get something brand new at a used car price, heck yeah, I'm just going to go new. Yeah, so hopefully this answers your question. I would go new, but again, everyone's different. That's how the world is. So, Gilbert, thank you so much for for asking that question. I hope I answered it. Or at least hope you have a little bit of a better idea on what to do. But thank you, everybody, so much. That was a perfect waste of time. Episode number 2. Thank you so much. This was been looking forward to this episode all week. And I can once again I will say the next episode, episode 3, will be out May 27th. But again, I hope you all continue to stay safe and healthy. And I once again have, if you're listening to this at night, have a good night. Or if you're on a commute, hey, good commute. Watch out. Drive safe. All right. See you next time.